stadium lights, with flippy birds before halftime. My heart racing like it's 4th and 5 on a Midwest Saturday night.
Welcome back to Mizzou Storytellers. I'm Dave Matter with Mizzou Athletics.
I'm Loretta Jones, also with Mizzou Athletics.
That's right. That's right. You are.
Yeah, still.
Welcome back. Welcome back from Thanksgiving. Welcome back from this. What are we going to call that snow game? It's got to have a nickname at some point.
I don't know. Like Snowmageddon. I don't know.
It
felt like
else.
it.
We're going to talk about that game with our guest today, who was
Yeah.
an active participant in it, and not just shoveling snow on the field. He was doing a lot more than that.
I
But
was shoveling snow out of my tent.
so what was the snow game like for you? What was you're up with the Letter Winners Club.
Yeah, which we had a pretty phenomenal turnout
Yeah.
for how cold it was
I thought
and
the
for
fans
the weather.
in general was great.
It was crazy.
I mean, it was a sellout, but still.
I still, as like an old person, I still refer to the stadium as like the alumni side and the student side.
Yes.
But so the alumni side, aka the west side, was just like packed from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it was just insane to see that with the weather the way it was. I thought for sure, all right, like it's sold out. But I mean, my dad, my brother, my sister-in-law were coming back from Kansas City. They had to run there Friday night, and they were coming back Saturday. 4.5 hours.
Wow.
4.5 hours to get back.
Yeah, that's brutal.
It was crazy.
Yeah. It was I was on the sideline for most of the game, and man, it was something else just to step back and look at everything and be like, this is crazy. Like not many people who are here today have ever experienced anything like this, because we've had snow games where it has snowed, but not a snow game where it piled up like that, and it kind of became the story of the day for a while.
Yeah. Did you shovel? Were you down there shoveling?
I oversaw some shoveling. I do know producer Steve did some shoveling, because we had some corporate logos out there that needed to be.
Did you shovel, producer Steve?
Oh,
it started at being in the wrong place
at the right time.
At the right time, I guess, or wrong time. And I'd probably put in a solid hour helping out, and then shoveling off stuff. And there's 2 field logos, but I was doing lines and stuff like that. It was now our event crew, Joe Swingle, shout out, like they were doing absolutely everything they could, because there was some concern. I'm going to be honest, like there was concern that the field wouldn't be safe.
Well, and the game
because it was coming down,
and the game
so
was delayed. It ended up being delayed a little bit because we had to make sure we got the field all cleared off.
And it just couldn't stop the snow. It just wouldn't stop coming down. And every time you'd get, like you said, you get one line done, you turn around to do the next line, and everything you just shoveled is full again.
Before the game that morning, we had an alumni in town that wanted to tour the south end zone. So I went over there with Atia Ellison. We were walking through the facility. We got there at 10. Tony Funderburg was shoveling the entrance to the south end zone at 10 a.m. We walk out at 11:30. He is still shoveling. He was just going back and forth, because I think that was right before they did like all hands on deck on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, it required everybody, because that was the we had to do a lot of work around the stadium, but that field, there's no game if there's not a field.
No game that's not a field. Playable. There were no golf carts. We couldn't take golf carts around. I mean, everybody was pitching in.
Yeah, shout out to Joe, Tony Funberg, Jimmy Heritage, all of those guys and gals for making that game possible. It was an eventful day. We had the groundbreaking before kickoff.
That was right by us up in the north end zone.
Yeah, it was funny because I was up there helping coordinate with our staff, and I was stepping, and I'm like, gosh, I kept falling, and I realized, it's because I'm walking on the rocks.
Yeah,
you couldn't see the Rock M.
Yeah,
because it was covered in snow, and it was a little jagged. It was a little tough to walk up there, but we got it done. Got our curators out there. We got President Choi and our donors out there. It has
officially
really cool.
begun.
It has officially begun. We have a new name for the project, Memorial Stadium Centennial Project. We debuted or unveiled that on Saturday. So it was, all in all, it was a really nice day. And we beat Arkansas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with another Brady Cook fourth quarter comeback.
Oh God, that was so cool.
His specialty.
Yeah, and then the 2-point conversion to hammer
Luther,
it home. Nail in the coffin.
And then the rock. So I can't remember the last time the seniors didn't do the rock ritual. I know it's happened, but we were fortunate. We always win the final game, or for the most part have won the final game, so they can go through with that part of the.
Oh, they're like digging it up. I talking about how many people were there. The amount of people that were on the hill.
Yeah,
which was completely snow. We had an alumni that he kept going down. He's an older guy. He was going down with his daughter, and they were just rolling down the hill, just rolling.
Yeah.
And then walking back up.
A few snowballs. That's not okay.
There
Can't
were
do that.
quite a few at the visiting team.
Can't do that.
Yeah, was not very happy with that.
Not a good look. But we had a nice PA read to warn the snowball throwers to not do that, and I think a few might have been asked to leave. And that's, it's just one of those, it's like a once-in-a-generational thing where it's going to snow that much. But here's the thing. If Mizzou plans on being in the college football playoff in coming years, which we do plan on being, there could be some home games in December going forward. So we learned a lot.
We did. We'll be ready next time.
Our guest has some stories too.
Yes, I am excited to hear from his point of view.
Yeah. A guy who had his hand on the ball the entire game, or at least when we had the ball.
Yeah.
To talk about. So should we just get right into our guest?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Tiger fans, say aloha to Hawaiian Bros, where the island-inspired flavors are positively delicious. You'll love favorites like huli huli chicken, luau pig, and the delectable Dole soft serve. Hawaiian Bros, just south of campus on Grindstone Parkway, or order at hawaiianbros.com.
He's a Tiger. He's a true son. He's a Viking. He's Mizzou starting center. He is Drake Heismeyer, and he's today's guest on Mizzou Storytellers. Welcome to the podcast, Drake.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate y'all.
Welcome, Drake.
Yeah. You are the second student athlete.
Correct.
To be a guest on the podcast.
All right.
Following the great Keegan O'Toole.
Yep.
So some very large wrestling shoes you're stepping into.
I feel it's like complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Keegan pretty much lives in this building, and Drake was telling us this is one of the first times he's ever been in here.
Twice, maybe, yeah.
Well, welcome to Historic Hearns, as we like to call it. Now, you were thrust into a major role on this football team late in the season. You've been here a long time. You've been here as long as anyone on the team.
Yeah.
But now you have a really important role with the injury to your teammate Connor Tollison, and we thought, you're a charismatic guy. You've been around. You've seen a lot of stuff here at Mizzou. We thought you'd be a really good guest to have on as we're kind of in this in-between period between the regular season and the bowl season. So what has this been like now that you are a starting center? You are touching the ball on every play on offense, and offense has played pretty well since you came onto the scene.
It's been kind of crazy as far as like the love I've been getting from people. I mean, I don't really think it's not my day-to-day life really isn't that much different as far as like, because being a second string, like Coach Jones, he prepares us so well. Like me and Connor, we meet with him all the time. Like anything Connor does, I'm there. So like, I mean, granted, I get a little more reps in practice, and obviously got to play in the game a lot more. But as far as that, it really hadn't been that much different.
What for you what is it like? I imagine it's sort of bittersweet. You see your teammate and your guy go down with an injury like Connor has, but that also means an opportunity for you. So how as a veteran guy, how do you kind of process both of those experiences?
I would trade places with Connor if I could, because like that's one of my best friends, and like he is an NFL guy, and I mean I'm more of like I'm going to get to that. Now I'm hitting the 9 to 5 here soon. You know what I'm saying? So like I'd trade places with him in a heartbeat. Doesn't matter to me. Like, but. It's an awesome opportunity. I'm really happy. My parents are really happy to see me play a lot. I'm happy they get to see me play.
Yeah.
And I like playing football. I like going out there. But it definitely is bittersweet. It's fun. I mean, playing football is a lot of fun, especially when you finally being out there and when you score a touchdown is like the best feeling ever. All that work you do, especially when you go on a long drive.
Yeah, and especially for this opportunity to come right at the end of your career here, and. Man, I guess I'm sure you never took any of it for granted, but then to get this opportunity now must be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a good way to go out.
Yeah.
I mean, I played in like 50 games, but most of it's been on special teams, and I've gotten here and there for whatever, when we've been whooping up on smaller teams. But it's a really good way to go out. Like it's my fourth start really coming in for the bowl game. It's kind of like a Cinderella story, really. I mean,
So I have a quick question. This is what, before we started recording, that I was telling Dave that I needed to ask you about. As I was doing my in-depth research about you, you were on the punt protection unit. And that just sounds so cool to me. Like, did you guys have shirts? Is there like licensed gear?
I've been trying to get that stuff. So I was on the Shield. We call it the Shield.
That's even cooler.
Which is, I mean, it sounds cool. It sounds cool. We basically just sit there and get teed off on, and make sure nobody hits the punter.
Yeah.
Which Luke Bowers. I lived with him for like 3 years, so he's a great buddy of mine.
You got to take that personally, then.
Yeah, that's my boy. But it's cool. I mean, I took it very seriously. Because it was the only way I was only getting on the field.
Like, it sounds like a franchise of Law and Order. You know, like Law and Order punt protection unit.
We just call it the shield life.
Oh,
people
yes.
want to know what it's like being on the shield. Because I mean, it's like playing shield and playing like guard on field goal are comparable because you just take hits. Like you're not like hitting anybody. You just slowly trying to protect the kicker.
You
like,
literally are a shield.
Yeah, guard on field goal and shield. I mean, you're getting hit all the time, but it's cool. I mean, like it's like anything. Once you get used to it, it's whatever.
It's just what
a
you know.
Way of life. Yeah.
So life.
So speaking of things to get used to, though, so I'll get back on track. So when you come in at center, you come in at an interesting time in the season. You're kind of flip-flopping back and forth between two different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So, and obviously you're very familiar with Brady.
Mm-hmm.
You've been on the team with him from the beginning. What was it like going from him to Drew and then back to Brady? Like, what were the differences between the two?
Like I said, like earlier, like stuff like that. Like quarterbacks all have like their own little quirks and whatever. They all do stuff differently. It's all very subtle, but especially like under center, the cadence is never the same. No matter quarterback, their cadence are different, which is really the hardest part, honestly. But I mean, I worked with Drew the entire fall and up until he got some playing time with the ones, and then obviously when Connor got hurt. So it was like riding a bike when I got out there in Oklahoma game because I mean I knew what to expect with Drew, and then with Brady, I've known Brady since like high school.
Yeah.
So it was easy with him. And me, Brady, and Drew we're great pals. So we talk all the time. So it wasn't anything crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's the advantage of having veterans too, that you can plug right in. And
yeah, I mean, like I said, there's only one person who's been here longer than me on the team, and it is Brady because he's the early enrolled.
Yeah, that's right.
But he early enrolled and then got sent home
because of COVID.
That's
yeah.
true.
So he really was only there like 2-3 months longer than I was.
Mm-hmm. I gotta ask. Okay, so at South Carolina, I think it was the first touchdown. You had a nice celebration in the end zone, playing the Gamecocks, and this guy breaks out into like, what was it, like a chicken dance?
Yeah, it was supposed to like bark, like a chicken. Good. Well, we talked all week. Like we like the O line likes to get together with Brady, like or the running backs, and like, hey, if we score, like let's do something fun. Like because you do all that work, you might as well celebrate when you get in there. Because now like college refs are kind of like letting like more celebrations kind of
seems
like
like
a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A couple years ago, you couldn't celebrate at all.
No.
Right.
But now they're kind of letting it happen as long as it's like not to another play, like
quick
team. As long as like to the crowd or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey man, like I'm gonna do the chicken dance or something. We score like the first touchdown because like the cockpit right there, the student section is in the end zone.
Yeah.
And I was like, so if we score in that end zone, I'll do something. And I was like, and me and Cam did it. Everybody else was too busy like celebrating. But
well, my 8-year-old was watching. He really appreciated it. So he's like, "That's awesome! You can do that." I'm like, "Well, he just did it."
Yeah, I was like, "That's my favorite away stadium we go to. I really like going there."
It's really underrated. Like if you haven't been
never
there,
been
it is
there.
awesome. It's an awesome environment.
Good atmosphere.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels nice. Grass there is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Usually we usually play them late in the season, so it's not too hot.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we're gonna dive in here.
We'll dive into your story. Yeah. Okay. So you're St. Charles native, St. Louis. We included in your intro your high school mascot because I feel like high schools are very important in St. Louis. I've never known somebody from St. Louis not to announce where they went to high school
or be asked
by anyone else. Yes, it's like a status symbol.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of weird because like I live like my friend's house is like right by the Missouri River, so like right before you get into St. Louis County. So, like, I mean, French Sal's definitely one of the bigger public schools in the area, but, like, it kind of gets forgotten because we're not really in St. Louis, but we're right there. But, like, we play a lot of the, big private schools, really, in the playoffs, stuff like that in football anyways.
Do you identify more as being from St. Charles or from St. Louis?
St. Charles, for
sure.
I
ask people that all the time. There's a difference. Like,
no,
you're either one or the other.
Do you ever do people ask you where you're from, do you just say St. Louis because it's easier?
I started saying, like, St. Charles, Wentzville, because, like...
Okay.
I mean, most people, if you've ever been on I-70 or 64, is it right there? You have to drive right through it.
Yeah.
But I mean, people are always like, because Mitch Walters is one of my best friends. He's from Melville, and he's like, you can't claim St. Louis, you can't claim that. I'm like, all right, I won't. I'll claim St. Charles.
Man, Drake has so many best friends.
He does.
I'm jealous.
Well, you're here that long.
I've been here.
Start collecting.
Yeah.
All right, so you're playing high school football in St. Charles, and at what point do you kind of realize that you've got a chance to play at the next level, and how'd that recruiting process go for you?
Yeah, so it was interesting. So, like, my dad played football in North Dakota State.
Mm-hmm.
My brother played football at Washburn in Topeka, Kansas. And I always thought, like, at best, like North Dakota State, like that lower Division I was like the best I was going to be, the highest level I was going to be able to get to. And I mean, I was a big kid. My freshman year, I was like 6'2", 240. I was biggest, probably one of the big guys on the team, and whatnot. Did a little thing. Didn't really talk to anybody. Went to this camp at Iowa State. South Dakota State took a liking to me, and then they found they ended up offering me like midway through my sophomore year. And then once they offered me, that was my first offer, and I was like, okay, like maybe I can actually play college football. Because I didn't really realize how good I was, like how weird it was to be 6'2", 6'3", 250 most of the time in high school. Especially in the St. Charles area, like there's not that many big people around. And once that first offer rolled in and I started going on a lot more visits, once you get one, you know, it is like people are just pulling the trigger on everybody. So that's what I realized. I was like, holy cow, like I am actually pretty good at football, and I think I can really do this.
So living so close, did you grow up a Mizzou fan? Did you watch them during the glory days?
I moved down here from South Dakota like in 2012.
Okay.
So like,
oh, that's a yeah. That was
like
a
when
good
I was
time.
in middle school was like 2014, 2013 when they were rolling.
So a great time to watch Mizzou football.
Yeah. But like I watched a little bit, but I grew up like obviously North Dakota State. My dad played there. My mom's from Fargo, which is their Columbia. So I grew up a Bison fan basically my whole life. I lived in Lincoln, Nebraska for a while, so I was a Husker fan.
Oh, you moved all over the place.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was a Husker fan for a while. I mean, I lived there when the Dominican.
We all make mistakes.
Yeah, when the Dominican Sue was playing there, so that was cool.
Yeah.
But Mizzou, I was like, yeah, whatever. Like they're doing good, but at that point, I didn't want to be a bandwagon.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't. I mean, yeah, I live in the state, but I just moved here, and like now they're beating up on everybody. I can't start liking the team.
Yeah.
But I was fairly indifferent growing up, especially when I got to high school. Like, I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, North Dakota State, like at the smaller D1 school, like nobody can really grind on me for liking them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So you committed, and Coach Drink wasn't here yet. Were you part of that class that committed before the coaching change took place?
Yeah, we're that weird like stepchild class.
Yeah.
It's like I remember I went on all these visits, whatnot. Every weekend I was gone. I remember I was sitting in class one day, and I was like, okay, like I was supposed to go to like K-State or something that weekend, and I was like, I don't want to go. Like Mizzou's been there since the beginning. This is back when Barry Odom was still here, and Coach Davis was coaching online. And I was like, I don't want to go. Like I know I want to commit. Like you, like, when people say like you'll know, like I really knew. Like I was like in that moment, I was like I want to go to Mizzou. Like So committed there. It was like March 17th of my junior high school. So it was like early 2019, I believe. And committed. Whatnot. Goes on. Life's great. And then Coach Odom gets fired after the Arkansas game, and it was weird because like it was my senior year and it was so late in the year, over and out. But I was like, I'm ride or die Mizzou, whatever. I'm going to go no matter what, see what happens. You know, I'm going to roll the dice. So I committed, and then I signed like a week after Coach Drink was hired here. Yeah. So like I went up there. It was a big like official visit weekend. Basically everybody went up there. And I was like, yeah, I definitely want to stay. Like, Coach Drink's a great guy. And at the time, we didn't have an online coach.
Yeah, it took a while, didn't it?
There wasn't a coach. I was like, all right, I'm going to sign and just see what happens. But I knew I wanted to go here, so it didn't matter.
Is the guy, the head coach you met then the same guy he is now? Has he changed a lot over time, or what have you seen him evolve? Because you've been here every moment that he's been here.
I mean, it's hard to say change because I see him every day.
Yeah.
It'd be different if I saw him and then 5 years later I saw him again.
Right.
I'd be like, oh, he changed, but like, I'm sure I've changed, like how everybody changed in these 5 years, but being by like how we treat, like how I thought he was my freshman year, and how we're so close now. Like I'll go up there and just talk to him and whatever. When I see him around, like just like it's normal because I've seen him for so long and I've known him for 5 years. I see him every day. So I'm not sure how much I could say he's changed, but I mean, to me, he's the same dude,
same guy.
But like I said, I haven't gone a day without seeing him.
Well, and that was that was just a crazy time in life anyway, you know, when you came in and you committed, we're doing COVID, new coach. Was there any worry that maybe this wasn't going to work out?
A little bit, but I'm a huge trust the process guy. Like I'll let stuff just play out. And like I said, I knew I wanted to go to Mizzou. Like I was like, I don't want to go anywhere else. So it's my only option. And if it all worked out in the end, it's working out pretty well.
Yeah. Absolutely. You had a great quote a couple weeks ago when your press conference. It went like Mizzou viral.
Yeah.
Like it went Mizzou viral. Everybody saw it.
We all talked about it. Yeah.
and it was I think it was like the epitome of like the student athlete experience, what you were talking about. And Coach Drink had some fun with it later on, but kind of refresh listeners like what you said. I mean, you basically talked about your purpose here and what you came here for, and you're still chasing that, whether you're playing, starting, or not. It's all about what you came here for.
Yeah, like I remember saying, like I didn't come here or like stay all these years just so I can get paid a bunch of money and whatever. Like I sit on the bench and whatnot, but like I love Mizzou and I wanted to get a degree. Like I want my degree to say University of Missouri on it.
Yeah,
and that means more than me than playing or starting or money or whatnot, because I know, like, I want to be like the connections room is like through MU. People know all the time. I want to be able to tell people I graduated from Mizzou. Like I got a degree from Mizzou.
Yeah.
That was more than anything than football was alone. Was my degree.
And there's such value in that too. And not to say there's anything wrong with transferring or people that come in as transfers and all of that, because that's just kind of where the sport is right now and college athletics as a whole. But to stick it out for 5 years because that's what you're chasing is that's pretty unique, pretty special.
Well, and you picked one of the most difficult degrees to get while playing football, mechanical engineering.
Yeah, it's been tough for sure, but like it's like anything. Once you get used to it, it's just
sure. I bet we all could do it.
I mean, I can't write a paper to save my life.
Okay, we got him beat there. I
could do more math and stuff like that.
So what is the plan after football? What would you like to do for a living?
Obviously get a job, hopefully, if I can get one of those. I like engineering is like my passion. Like I love it's so interesting to me. Like I enjoy going to class and like learning what's going on. A lot of times I get baffled, like how could somebody actually come up with this stuff? Because it's so it's so complex at certain times. I'll work really in any level of engineering. Like that's how much I enjoy it. Like I know no matter what kind of engineering I do, I'll enjoy it and I'll have a good time. And I'm a people person, so I mean I make friends like that. So I'm sure anywhere I work will be fine.
Well, awesome. And we were talking a little bit before we started recording. You said it's a dream job.
Yeah, if I could dream, I'd like to get into like defense, like Lockheed Martin and like Boeing, work on like the F-15s and that top secret military stuff.
Very cool.
That's like end goal type of deal.
Yeah.
I've always thought stuff was cool. Like my mom was Air Force, stuff like that, so I thought that was cool.
That is really cool.
We were talking before we started recording. You were pretty ambitious in the NIL world before it all got started, and when really one of the first student athletes at Mizzou that really like kind of capitalized on it. Tell us about what you did, what kind of your game plan was back then. It had to do with restaurants, not just in Columbia, but it was back home too, wasn't it?
Yeah. So like I remember when it first came out, and I was just talking to my mom about it, and she's like, "Yeah, like you should do stuff." I was like, "I'm in like." We should find something that I was good at, and we're like, figure, I'm a big guy and I like to eat food. So we're like, why don't you do like food type reviews? And I was like, yeah, I could do that. You always see those on the internet. People do those all the time. And my mom is good friends with Wendy Berry. Shout out Wendy. She knows all these different restaurants in the St. Charles area, and she kind of hooked me up. And at first, like, I was really just doing it for free food.
Yeah.
Because like gift cards here and there.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then it kind of blew up because I was one of the only guys that was really doing it. And like I don't want to like incriminate myself, but I wasn't really doing a whole lot of work. My mom was like my momager, so I call her my momager. She basically set everything up for me. I just go and take pictures and eat food. And like I had Cane's here when they first opened up. It was great. Like I said, I don't need money. Like just give me like free food and it will be fine.
I mean, that's huge as a college student.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I should have gone into business and sales or something.
You still can.
Yeah, I guess I could. I probably could work out.
So we've talked about, you've been here for 5 years. You've been here through a crazy time in the world and football, coaching change, everything, NIL. When you look back at that student, that high school student that was looking into college, what would you tell yourself now with like the amount of changes that have been made and just the landscape of college athletics? Like what that transformation's been like. What would you tell that high school kid?
For me, like it's all about relationships. Like I remember like going places like everybody in the country's knew this, knew that. Especially at this level, like we're building new stuff every year. It seems like at the football facility, everyone in the country is the same way. Like I was always a big relationship guy. Like here and there I might have the same buildings, but who do I actually want to? I'm going to have to see this coach every day.
Yeah.
I'm going to see the strength staff multiple times a day, every day. It's really how it is. Like, do you actually want to spend a lot of time with those people? Like, if you can push like talk to them aside when you go and like get to talk, you can just talk about other stuff besides football, like on recruiting visits. I definitely do that because like at the end of the day, like you're with the strength staff more than you're with your own position coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially like if you can get in and like talk to the actual players that are there, and not having them feed you some story that the coaches probably tell you. But like if you can actually really down to earth and talk to them, like those are the guys you spend 90% of your week with.
Sure.
Do you feel like a lot of that's getting lost now with everything that's happening with recruiting?
I don't know. Like the portal's cool. I've definitely the whole portal thing's crazy. Like it's just like how you can just leave and whatever not. It's been great for us. We've gotten some great guys out of the portal, and some of those guys are my good buddies now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like relationship wise, I don't know if it's getting lost. It's weird. Like explain O-line is different because like 5 people have to play as one. You know what I'm saying? Like if we and one of us messes up, you know, with one person messes up, lets a sack, it goes on the whole offensive line.
Yeah.
So the offensive line as a whole is so close. Like the room is so close. So like, I've never really had that relationship fading away issue. It's different because like other positions you're really playing for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and I'm really playing so Brady doesn't get sacked, so he doesn't get hurt. Like, I'm not worried about me getting hurt. I'm worried about Brady getting hurt. And stuff like that.
Good segue. I was going to ask you, not many people here, hardly anybody, has been around him throughout his entire career, but you've been there every step of the way. Looking back a little bit now, you've seen the 5 years. How do you kind of process the Brady Cook experience at Mizzou? You've seen it all. What's it been like to see him go through the struggles maybe early on? He's had some injuries, but where he is now, getting carried off the field the other night like all you guys were, but crowd chanting his name. It's been pretty magical to watch.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like, I remember Brady, obviously, center quarterback coming in, so we've been great. We've been great pals. And then I remember him sitting behind, old Connor Bazelak. Good dude, by the way. Love that guy.
That's a long time ago.
Wow.
Good dude.
He's still in
he's still
college
playing.
football.
Yeah.
So.
And then I remember I sat next to Brady on the plane. We would take a plane, whatever. I sat next to Brady on the plane to the Armed Forces Bowl.
Yeah.
And that was his first start.
Right.
And I remember I was so happy for him. I was like, hey man, we get out there and ball out, show what you got. Like, kind of like whatever. Like. And now he's like, and then it first went through a couple of years where like it seemed like everybody hated him. And nobody wanted to be the quarterback, and people were like, "Oh, we need to find somebody else." Blah blah. Blah. And they tried to bring in transfers, and nobody could really beat him out. And I knew the whole time, like Brady's my guy. Like he's gonna be a good dude. He's like most hard-headed person I've ever met. Like if he can play, he's gonna play no matter what. And I think he's finally getting the credit he really deserves. He's one of those harder working guys on the team. Like he's always in the building.
Yeah.
Way more than I am, and I'm there a lot.
Do you remember your reaction when you saw him come out of the locker room for the Auburn game after he had? You guys may not even know when he was at the hospital.
Yeah, I remember like I was sitting there, and we're like sitting there, and then whatever. Somebody comes back. Hey, Brady's coming back. Someone told me, and I was like, no way, this is the hospital. Like it's like like Brady's not coming back for sure. Like Drew's gonna get it done, but like that sucks for Brady. Like damn. And then he came back, and he was locked in. He was, let's go. We're gonna go out there and win this. We're gonna go out there. And I was like, no way. Like this dude was just across the street, and then like it was a shock, but it was definitely like I've never seen anything or even heard of anything like that.
It was like a movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I want like in my head, my memory is of him like coming out of the tunnel, like rising like a phoenix from the ashes. There's like smoke, and he's just coming slowly. Not at all how it happened.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing him get rolled up on, and like Brady's a tough guy. Obviously, you guys know now.
Yeah.
And I could see this really bothering him. I was like, it must really hurt for him to come out of the game.
Yeah.
Then I knew it was bad. That alone, I didn't know it was the hospital bad at first. Yeah, he took it like a troop, and then when he came back, I was like, this is no way this is happening.
Yeah,
he's actually coming back. He came from the hospital, came back, won the game. It was great, Cinderella type story.
Yeah.
Can't make that up.
For him and for you guys on offense especially. I mean, it's to the point now where if you're playing at home and the game is close, even if you're losing, like I can't imagine anybody doesn't believe you're going to find a way. I mean, it is week after week after week.
Yeah.
It was really incredible this year.
It's fourth quarter comebacks. I've noticed now that I've been playing a lot, like when you're out there, it's like you'd think you'd be nervous, but you're not, because like you actually have you have part in it. Like I can control the outcome.
Yeah.
If I'm, especially at center and offensive line, like I'm like we always find a way. We're gonna get it done. Like sitting on the sideline, like it's much more nervous. Like when I was a 2, like I was way more nervous because like I couldn't help. Like nothing I could do.
Yeah.
But when you're out there, like crowd goes away and Brady's like that last play, Brady called the shot. He's like, hey, like they're gonna blitz here, and if you guys block this up, I'm walking in the end zone.
He told you that before?
Yeah, I was like in the huddle.
Yeah.
I was like, please do, man. I'm tired. Like let's go win this game on my rock. And sure enough, they nose guard went right. Linebacker went left. They blitzed off the edge. Jamal made a great block. We walked right in.
Yeah, between the two of you, and I found an awesome photo I tweeted it the other day of the three of you, St. Louis guys, celebrating in the end zone. And you and Jamal were the ones that made those critical blocks right up the middle, and it was as wide as, I mean, it didn't even look like Arkansas had 11 guys out there because it was so wide open.
Yeah, it was perfect. Like, he ran right. Like, I didn't have to, like, try to, like, impose him the other way he went there. I was like, no way, let's go. Like, I made my block. I'm good now. I just got to pin him here. Yeah. And Jamal's a dog, so, like, I knew he was going to pick him up, and then Brady can run. I mean, people found out a couple years ago he can actually move. He's a fast guy. Like, I think a lot of people forget about that. Yeah. But he's actually a mobile quarterback.
This episode of Mizzou Storytellers on the Inside Mizzou Athletics podcast is brought to you by Shelter Insurance. Ranked number 1 in customer satisfaction for auto insurance in the Central Region by J.D. Power 5 out of the last 6 years. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
What was it like just to play in that game? I mean, you guys are in the locker room, maybe not fully aware of just how much snow was coming down. It was pretty insane.
Yeah, like, Coach was like, it's going to be cold. They're saying chance of snow, but, like, you know, to live in Missouri, like, they freak out, like, oh, snowmageddon.
Cold with a chance of snow.
every year they're like, oh, it's going to snow 5 feet. Cancel everything. And so I didn't think it was going to happen. Like, I used to in South Dakota. I'm so used to snow. So like, whatever. And you come down here, it doesn't snow very much. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, it's probably not going to snow. It's probably going to end up being like 50 degrees. Sure enough, I woke up in the morning. We woke up early. I'm like, okay, like, it's snowing a little bit. I'm like, it's just gonna melt. It's the ground. Yeah. And then we go on the meal. I'm like, wow, there's actually a lot of snow out there. Like, and then we pull up on the buses, and I'm like, it's really coming down. Mm-hmm. And especially I was in the locker room I didn't really think there was gonna be that much snow. They had to push to the side and everything. Yeah. But it was awesome. Like, my last game, so I'm starting finally. It's snowing. That's awesome.
Were you one of those hooligans out there with a shirt off and your sweatpants?
I didn't go out there with a shirt off because, like, I knew a lot of, I was like, I'm gonna play in no sleeves anyways. Like, I don't need to be out there running around.
Don't need to show off.
Like, the very few times that I have gotten to be, like, on the field during the game and I get to go down there, it is just like so slightly warmer down there than it is up in the concourse.
You get out of the wind.
But that's what I was gonna ask is, did it feel a whole lot warmer when you were in the game than it did when you were just walking around before it started?
Yeah, oh yeah. I wasn't cold though. I made a crucial mistake in the first touchdown we went, and I went and jumped in the snow pile.
Oh.
And my butt was soaking wet the rest of the game. So that was kind of a mess. But even when I first went out there, I'm like, oh, it's not that cold. But I think it's because when you're on the field, you don't get as much wind because it really is a bowl.
Yeah.
People don't realize how far below the stadium street you are. Yeah. Yeah, like you're a lot farther down there, so you don't get as much wind.
Well, it was pretty extraordinary because I talked to a lot of people that have seen a lot more games at Mizzou than I have, and they've never seen a snow game like that.
I mean, there's been times where
it has snowed, but not like that.
No, like true snow game since '91.
Yeah, against Iowa State.
I remember Coach Olivo was telling me he played in a snow game at Faurot, but it wasn't like this. That was like 1995 or 7 or something like that. He was telling me, he's like, it wasn't anything like this. Yeah. Before now, the last snow game I played in, I actually played on like an FBU team, which is like a travel football team. Brady was on it. Me and Brady played on it together. We played a game in Iowa, and it was middle of a blizzard. Mm-hmm. That was the last time I played a snow game was in like middle school.
Wow.
Like, they did such a good job. I mean, shout out to our facilities team.
Yeah.
I mean, and everybody that stepped in was shoveling. I mean, I saw Marcy Girton down there with her purse on her shoulder. Shoveling that field.
She's great.
Oh, she's amazing.
I love her. I love her all the time.
And they did such a phenomenal job, and you could kind of see the numbers. How much more difficult is it to be out there when you cannot see the whole field clearly?
Well, at first I didn't realize people think we got 4 inches of snow.
Yeah, it was closer to 5.
Because it was windy. Yeah, and it was windy.
Yeah. I mean, you're thinking okay, that's something. When we realized how big of an area is covered in snow.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, and then at first it was tough because they only cleared the hashes and the yard marks.
Yeah.
And when the ball was in the hash, I was like, oh, it's great. Like I won't have any snow impeding my snap or anything. But then when we're not in the hash, I'm like, this is terrible.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Because I don't want to lose the ball. And then I was impressed with how much they were able to get off. And by the end of the game, it started to melt a little bit because we were running on it. But by the end of the game, space turned into ice pellets.
Yeah.
So it was but it was sticking your shoes a little bit.
Yeah.
They said it was supposed to be a dry snow, and it wasn't dry at all.
No.
It was like the sloshiest snow I've ever been in.
I mean, how did that affect your grip? Like, how'd you keep your hands warm? And
I usually just cut the fingers off my gloves, try to protect my hands a little bit, because usually your hands get a little beat up. Mm-hmm. But I had a little hand warmer, and I don't know if you guys know, but they warm the balls up.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
It's like when you like at the beginning of the drive when you go out there, like the ball's warm to the touch. What? So it's just great. But then after 2-3 plays, it's gone.
This is a very exciting new fact for me.
Yeah,
I did not know this.
Because like it's really just like at the beginning of drive, you're usually kind of cold because you've been sitting on the sideline or whatever. So it's nice to have that warm ball. But after 2 plays, you're sweating again. So it's no big deal.
Yeah. Speaking of the end of the game, you get your rock. What was that experience like? We've seen it countless times, but to be the guy that gets one, what was that like for you?
Yeah, it was like surreal. I was talking to Mitch about it. Because I've been part of so many senior days.
Yeah.
And usually I'm carrying somebody.
Right.
Trying to break my back trying to catch someone. And it was weird that it was weird actually like me having to go up there and grab a rock and someone try to pick me up.
Yeah.
It was a weird feeling. Like it didn't feel right. Just 'cause, like I said, I've been here so long. And I've seen so many different senior days. I've carried 5 different people off the field or whatever. 4 different people.
So where is the rock? What'd you do with it? I'm always curious what people do with theirs.
At first it was in my locker, and I wasn't. I just told my parents to go take it home because I didn't want to knowing me, I'd lose it or drop it.
Right. Somebody try to take it.
Yeah, my parents. Someone would steal it. So I was like, just take it home and put it in. All my keepsakes, I just sent home, like all my rings, all my Letterman's jacket, whatever bowl game jerseys, because I don't trust myself with it.
That's probably safe because there have actually been a good amount of current student athletes that have reached out to me that they've lost their letter jackets and they need new ones.
Oh, so. You say they lost the rock.
No, I have not heard about that happening.
I grabbed a pretty decent sized rock. That was like hardest part of the game. Really was deciding what kind of rock I wanted. I didn't know if I wanted a huge one and make it as if I put it, you people have rocks by their front door,
right?
Well, I don't want it's like a desk piece,
paperweight.
Yeah, I didn't really know. I went with it's probably like 25 pounds.
All right. That's pretty good.
It's going to be Drake's key rock in front of his house.
Yeah. Reaching the rock and keys are right there.
Yep.
That's good. What happens to the guys that go through it twice because they didn't know last year if they were staying? Do they get 2 rocks?
Yeah, I guess. I was talking to Tyler Stevens. He's like, yeah, I still got my rock.
Did he get another one?
I think they should have to return the first one.
I don't know if he got another one. I don't think he did.
I mean, I guess do it for show, but then go put it back
later. Hand it to somebody
else.
I
think he just went and got a picture of it and just put it back. I'm not entirely sure. I can ask him when I see him tomorrow.
That makes sense.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Well, I try sometimes. All right. Should we go into our?
Let's do it.
Rapid fire. Okay, Drake. These are 5 quick questions. Don't spend a lot of time thinking. Just what comes to mind.
Do you want odds or evens? Is there one you really want?
Not necessarily. Go for it.
Okay. Best meal in Columbia. Not necessarily restaurant, but meal at a place.
It's not something that I had to break that down.
Okay, go for it.
There's a lot that goes into that. It's true.
I mean, this is the guy who did NIL with restaurants just for free food. I should have known.
Am I downtown or am I outside? Because if I'm downtown, Addison's is great. Booch's is great.
But but it's the meal, not the restaurant. What's the meal?
What are you getting there?
I'm going to go to Addison's and getting their pot roast French dip. And their truffle fries.
Oh, truffle fries for sure.
And then if I go to Booch's, I'm having 5-6 burgers.
That's 5
it?
6?
Yeah, easily.
Okay, that's impressive.
Maybe that's his best appetizer in Columbia before he goes to Addison's to have dinner.
Get the 5 6.
Yeah, that's tough. It really is. I mean, best meal in Columbia is CC's broiler, in my opinion.
But what's the meal? What'd you get? What do you get?
I'm probably getting one of the VIP cuts of meat. I'm probably getting the 20 Wagyu something 20 something ounce.
Nice.
Lobster tail. That place is phenomenal. We went there the other day with Brady. It was great.
I saw that online. That was pretty cool. He posted a picture.
Yeah, I always forget how good that place is. I don't go there a whole lot because it's high dollar.
Well, when Brady takes you,
Yeah, Brady was taking us. I was like, yeah, all right.
It's probably not any dollars.
Yeah. I was like, we had a good time, and the food there was great. That's probably the best. If I got time to sit down and really dress up,
yeah,
I'm going to CC's.
Now I'm breaking up the routine here, but what does the staff do at his steakhouse when the offensive line comes in the door?
They were our guy Victor, he was our wait, he was great. He was on top of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we were definitely.
Are you moving tables together? How does it work?
It's
not very big.
It's not very
place.
big,
and the tables aren't very big.
No.
I mean, I'm a big dude in there, and I'm the smallest guy in the offensive line.
Yeah.
By a substantial amount.
Yeah.
Wow.
So. I mean, it was a little tight at first, but we were in that one. We walk in, we're to the left.
Oh, okay.
So, but there were other people there, and people were taking pictures of us, having a good time. It was a good time there.
Yeah, that's great.
Taking pictures of you or with you?
With us.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
They could have snuck some random ones.
I thought you said
sure
of you.
If anyone's taking a picture with Brady, I mean, I'm just the line just there.
Brady and some big guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, number 2, least favorite teammate to block in practice. This can go all 5 years, not necessarily now.
Probably Right now, I'll say Logan Riker. He's huge.
Yeah.
Like he's like 340-something pounds. Like he's not very easy to move.
Yeah.
And he's like the strongest guy I ever met. Unbelievably strong for being like 20 years old.
Yeah, he's very young. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, probably him. Good dude. Love the guy. But I don't want to have to run block because he's huge.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You're not going to have too much longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't worry about that much longer. But as far as the past 2 years, I'm straight away from him.
Okay.
All right. Your most memorable win. It doesn't even have to be here.
It's definitely me at Mizzou for sure because I went in high school. I didn't win any state championships or anything. So.
Yeah.
A lot of people would say the Cotton Bowl, which was great, but I remember one year we were playing. Honestly, my freshman year, either when we beat LSU or when Mevis made that field goal versus Arkansas, because like I've never been my freshman year, like I've never been part of a game-winning field goal before.
Yeah.
K-State.
I was gonna say, I was like, Amoeba's field goal. It has to be.
I was actually when Marcellus went down, I had to go in. It was my first time ever being on field goal since high school.
Really?
And
so you were on the field when
I was
you made
on
it?
the field, and that's probably it. The K-State field goal, and everybody rushed the field. Because I've been a part of a game where we've gotten the field rushed on us.
Yeah.
Terrible feeling. Like we played Boston College for the first time.
Yeah.
That was bad. But yeah, probably I forgot the K-State game for sure.
Did you think he was going to make it?
I was like,
especially after the penalty. There was a penalty.
know, right?
I don't remember what the score was. Were we tied or were we losing?
I think it was tied.
I think it was tied.
Because I think it would have gone to overtime if he had missed.
Yeah, so I wasn't really that nervous. I was like, if he misses it, whatever, we're just gonna win in overtime. It is what it is. And then I remember sitting there and I'm like, okay, like they're gonna come out. They're gonna come after us here.
Yeah.
And I saw it go up. I'm like, oh, it was straight, so that's looking pretty good. And then I run down the field because they want us to cover. I'm like, no, this might actually go in. And it barely went in, and I just started freaking out. But I wasn't nervous. I was like, if anyone's gonna make it, if anyone's gonna make a 63-yard field goal, it's gonna be me. But who else would it be? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It was tied, 27-27 before he made it.
Okay, yeah.
I was gonna say, because I remember we all were kind of like that. Like, all right, if he misses, like we'll go to OT.
Right.
Nobody wanted to, but we can.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that really boosted that season that year, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Best advice you've ever been given?
Best advice I've ever been given. I don't know. It's tough. A lot of people tell me a lot of things all the time, especially in being in the football world.
You could just focus on Coach Drink, Coach Jones, something that's really resonated with you.
I don't know. We're really big on just display or take it be where your feet are. Mm-hmm. But you can be that anywhere in life. You don't want to be thinking ahead or thinking about the past. When you're actually doing something else, that's kind of big. Especially in the football world. If you got a bad play previously, you don't want to have two bad plays in a row.
Yeah.
Everybody messes up. You got to keep that in mind. No matter what you're doing, you're gonna mess up at a certain point in your life.
Good.
So I would say probably be where your feet are.
Be where your feet are.
Yeah,
All right.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. In 5 years, where's Mizzou football?
5 years, I think Mizzou. I think we're really at a start of something good. Coach Drink's an unbelievable recruiter. I think, especially compared to I've been here 5 years. Complete the change I've seen in 5 years since I've been here. Granted, it took 3 years for us to really start winning games. I think Mizzou football has a chance to really, really explode on the face of the college football world. Especially because now we're winning games, people want to come play here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And recruits want to come here. Coach Drink, our recruiting team is unbelievable. Coach Drink is the best recruiter I've ever met out of all the coaches. He's very personable, so I think we can get a lot of people to come play for us, and we're getting the new end zone. A lot of the good things are happening from Mizzou football right now. So I think in 5 years, I think Mizzou football will be a powerhouse.
That's great.
Can I add one I thought of?
Sure.
That I think I've asked other people before.
OT,
I like to ask a lot of alumni questions like this. Your favorite drinkism, your favorite thing about Coach Drink, his. I've asked Gary Pinkel's players this before too. I was like, what was your favorite Pinkelism? So I want to know what's your favorite drinkism.
Drinkism. I don't know. He's an interesting guy. He's different than he is. You guys see him a lot.
Right.
Differently than I see him every day because I see him behind closed doors. And he's he'll go in the outline room and we'll just mess around and crack jokes, stuff like that. As far as drinkism, I don't know. That's really tough to say. I don't know. I would think about that. What do most people say about like Coach Binkle?
They'd like little quotes that he would say, or like little quirks that he had, or like mannerisms. I do it like with my coaches. Like when I play with the Krecklos, like Susan Krecklo was always at practice. I could look over and she's just randomly stretching, like just stretching in the corner, like watching practice. Like it was just little things like that you just like you tell these stories. So I don't know if maybe Drink had some little quirk, some little thing that he always does or always says, and you guys kind of chuckle about it.
We used to give him crap all the time for saying little isms all the time. He used to, I think we used to get on top of him from saying stuff like that, but like, because like we're so casual now with the coach that like he kind of maybe backed away from it. But
it's interesting. Yeah.
He always says like stuff I can't repeat, like funny stuff, like at practice, like if someone messes up, he's on that speaker.
Oh yeah.
He's always getting into people, like funny, like just giving them crap, but it's hilarious.
Oh, that would be amazing as a coach to have a speaker at practice when one of your players messes up.
He's actually a really funny dude.
Yeah, he is a funny dude.
He's got some wit.
He definitely, for sure. He said he comes up with stuff, and you're like, how? Like, how'd you do that so fast?
That's why I'm so excited for him to come on our podcast.
Can't wait.
Yep.
Yeah, he's good. He's gonna be a good time.
All right. Where's the photos?
Okay.
All right, our last ritual here, Drake.
I don't know why this one is so small.
You get to choose.
But I give you 3 to choose from that's going to stay on there.
Okay.
Posterity. You get to pick one, and then you get to hang it. And I just realized we're not grab a push pin.
This is an oldie, right? These two are old. Show the camera. So we got me. This is like I think this is my freshman year roster picture. I was 19, maybe 18, 19. This is me and Connor. Look at Connor. He's got a mullet.
I really like that photo.
This one's cool. This one isn't bad. This is like a classic. I'm gonna have to go with this one.
You can keep the ones you don't. We don't.
I'm gonna have to keep this. I'll put this one up there.
You go hang
No, you get to.
Oh, I get to?
That's the job.
right.
Yeah.
Just be careful because the bullets.
It's very delicate.
I don't want to knock anything over.
Well, it's
it's
hanging by a thread. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretend like you're still on the shield unit. Protect
Yes.
it.
Your job is to protect the board.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to cover anybody up. This is kind of a big one.
It's okay. We have lots of guests.
Okay. Right there, me and Connor.
There you go.
Oh boy.
Nice.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Drake. This was a lot of fun. It's been fun to watch you get this opportunity at the end of the season. Like you said, you enjoyed your ride here. There was no doubt. I think you made the most of it. Now you're getting to experience playing time and starting, and at the end of this run here, it's been awesome to watch. Really happy for you, and glad you can come here and share some thoughts and memories.
Yeah. Happy to celebrate your Mizzou Swan song with you.
Yeah, I'll come back. You'll need me. Maybe when my NDA with football. I mean, if I'm on the football team, maybe
Right?
There you go.
Then I can talk about whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll talk about all
Co-host.
the isms.
Yeah, we'll talk about everything.
We can talk about the big bowl game victory to hopefully
Yes.
somewhere warm.
I hope we go to the Vegas Bowl.
All right, you said
All right.
it. It is on the record,
It's
so
in the
we'll
universe.
see.
Yep.
We'll see. All right. Well, I'm
I'm 20.
all senior staff wants to go to the Vegas Bowl. So.
At least I can tell it'll be warm. You know, it'll be warm there no matter
That's
what.
true.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks a lot, Drake.
Yep,
Appreciate
thanks,
it.
Drake.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Yep.
This episode of Mizzou Storytellers on the Inside Mizzou Athletics podcast is brought to you by Sophia's and Addison's Restaurants. Sophia's and Addison's Restaurants are great local spots to visit before or after all Mizzou home games. Addison's has 2 locations in Southwest and downtown Columbia and features over 20 beers on tap, including local brewers and, of course, their famous Nachos Bianco. So remember, before or after the game, stop by Addison's.
Drake Heismeyer, how about him?
What a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy.
He was, now, when we were putting our guest list together, like 3 months ago, I would not have thought that the first week of December our guest would be Drake Heismeyer and he would be a relevant storyteller.
It was not on my bingo card.
No.
But I'm glad that we had it happen.
Yeah.
He is chatty in a good way.
Oh, he's great.
He's so easy to talk to.
When we scored that touchdown in South Carolina and he started doing the chicken dance, I really thought to myself, like, there's somebody we need to get on the podcast because he is a character.
I will be forever in his debt for knowing that they warm the ball up
How about
before the
that?
play. Did
Yeah.
you know that? Did you know that?
I figured they did. I didn't know for a
But
fact.
you did not
I figured in the
actually know.
NFL they did. I didn't know if they did it in college. I mean, Mike Krowski, man, that guy will.
What do they warm it up with?
A heater, blow dryer, I don't know.
Would that damage the leather?
I I don't know.
How often do they trade the ball out?
We'll have to get Brady Cook in here and ask him.
Yeah, we need to know these things.
Yeah. Well, we learned a lot from Drake. Great to get Drake Heismeyer in here and tell stories about the snow game and his career.
Which is not over yet.
It's not over yet because on Sunday we will find out which bowl game the University of Missouri will be playing in.
It's so exciting. That's just so exciting to say.
Yeah.
Like just another year, another bowl.
Yeah. And we can say this. We're recording this on Thursday. We do not know.
Absolutely not.
It's really hard to even project. We know which bowls are the SEC affiliated bowls, but we don't know how many SEC teams are going to be in the playoff. That will have an impact on where everybody else goes, and so we'll find out on Sunday. We're going to be a little busy on Sunday, but
I feel like there's something else going on that
there
day.
is. I think we're not going to be in this building, but we will be over at Mizzou Arena. A lot of us will be. 15,000 of our closest friends will be there.
It is. It's Beat KU week.
It is Beat KU. Did you lowercase the K when you said that?
I did because I'm reading it off of the screen where I lowercased it.
Yeah. It is Kansas week. I was trying to do the math. When was the last time I was at a Mizzou Kansas basketball game where I was not an objective reporter? Just not.
I guess before you entered the J school, like maybe
So
your freshman year.
Yeah. So the last one I remember seing,
which would have been here
in Columbia,
historic Hearns.
1997, the Corey Tate game when he hit the game-winning shot to beat number 1 Kansas.
Yeah.
So that was last. But then I remembered in 1998, I was a sophomore at Mizzou. Me and my fraternity brother, we went to Lawrence, and we bought tickets from a gentleman outside of the arena. They were celebrating the 100th anniversary of Kansas basketball, and we were the 2 Mizzou fans in the crowd.
I love that.
And they honored like all the greats were there. Danny Manning.
That's really cool.
I think Wilt Chamberlain was there. Was he still alive in 1998? I don't know. I know they honored him in some capacity. Missouri did not win that game, but all the legends were there. So I think that was the last game I've been to where I was not like covering the game as a reporter.
And before...
You're going to fact check me on when Wilt Chamberlain
Yes. Died. I'm just checking now. Yeah, that would have been his last one he could have attended. He died in 99.
I think he was there. They definitely stopped and talked about him at some point. Every time out, they honored a different Final Four team. It was kind of nauseating.
When did Wilt Chamberlain die? The next question that people also ask is how many babies did Wilt Chamberlain have?
Oh gosh, different conversation. I was at the Keon Dooling dunk game when Keon had the incredible dunk that was called back for. I was covering that game for the Columbia Tribune.
That's cool. I remember that. I was
there for that.
That's crazy. Yeah, but I think before last year, I feel like a terrible fan for saying this. I feel like the last MUKU basketball game I went to was in this building.
Oh yeah.
To be honest, because then, I moved back to Kansas City. Things got crazy. I didn't get back as much. So I think it was probably before last year. I think or 2 years ago. It was here.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. 2 years ago, I was still writing.
You're still neutral.
Still neutral.
Still neutral. It's what colors do you wear to those games then?
I don't know. I didn't really own
orange,
gold clothes.
Just all brown.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, denim, but not blue. Not nothing blue.
No.
No, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a crazy day, and I did hear something that Kansas might not be undefeated anymore.
You heard correctly. They didn't just lose; they lost by 13.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a great scene over at the arena. It's great to have those guys coming back here.
Yeah. You know what other season it is?
No.
Deer crossing season.
Oh, deer! Yes.
I hit a deer yesterday.
Is there a deer crossing off season?
I don't know, but
okay.
I hit
You
a deer
hit a deer
yesterday.
Your car hit a deer.
Well, yes, I did not physically punch a deer, though I wanted to.
You started telling us. You started telling me and producer Steve this story, and I was like, "Stop and save it for the podcast."
I was driving to pick up my kids, and
at Mill Creek Elementary.
At Mill Creek Elementary, where your wife, Nurse Molly, works.
Yes.
I was going to pick them up from after-school care.
She was looking on TikTok.
I don't even have TikTok. But that's what's sad. Is yes, I am known for driving distracted. I'm sorry. I'm human. But I listen to audiobooks in my car. And so I was listening to an audiobook, minding my own business, had a pretty good day at work yesterday.
Can you say what book?
Yeah, it's called Home is Where the Bodies Are. It's like one of those like murder mystery type books. Okay. It's not very good. I'm almost done with it.
Okay.
Shout out.
Are they a sponsor, Steve?
It's not like it's okay. Anyway, that's a different podcast. So I'm driving. I'm heading west on Nifong, right before you get to the Sinclair roundabout.
Yep.
Just driving, cruising out of nowhere on the south side of the road. This little deer just jumps out. To the point where I what am I supposed to do?
Kamikaze action? Like,
yes,
what are they doing?
I thought so. And so I hit it immediately and then keep going. And I can't tell if I've like actually run it over, if it's like hit me. Because then I keep driving and it sounds like something's dragging. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm dragging this dead deer. Like, what is going on? And so I end up pulling over because I would say I was maybe 20 feet from where the shoulder stops, like where it becomes the striped lines. And so I pull over into the striped lines. Shout out to all of the South Columbia people that slowed down or stopped and asked me if I was okay.
Really?
Yes,
well,
because I've been in a few more car accidents than I'd care to claim in my life. And more often than not, they do not stop. Like people don't want to be bothered with having to help somebody.
They're probably like, look, it's the co-host of Mizzou Storytellers. We need to help her.
She's got Mizzou gear on. I wonder if she's important.
They've got Drake Heismeyer on the show this week.
So I pull over and I come out and like the entire like inside of my left front wheel well, like all the plastic, I drive a RAV4. And so it's like all of that like plastic inside, like it's all out. Like it's completely.
I thought you were going to say like deer blood everywhere.
So there was a little bit of that on my car. But then later I noticed, and I'll show you here, there was deer fur. It's stuck in my wheel of my car.
I don't see it.
Do you not see the little like fuzzy at the bottom? It's like it was really bright outside.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's a lot. And so then I'm sitting there on the side of the road trying to decide, okay, do I just sit here and wait for Dave? Because it's also like,
not me.
That my husband,
Dave
Jones. I
would have stopped.
I should have just called you.
Yeah.
Yes, obviously. But it's 5:35, and the kids have to be picked up from Adventure Club by 5:45.
Oh,
and Dave works.
Or they just like throw them out in the street.
Yeah,
they charge you more.
Yeah,
I was trying to decide: do I just like pull my car up to that circle drive because it's like maybe an eighth of a mile?
Yeah.
Or do I leave my car with the flashers on and walk up and just like get them out of school? So while on the phone with a coworker, shout out to Alyssa Blair for talking me through it. I drove very, very slowly. And the whole thing, she's like, I can hear it because it's just like something being dragged on the road.
Oh, no.
So, yeah.
Get
So
this
long.
thing good.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just annoying damage that will have to get fixed and will cost more money than I care to spend on my car that's 10 years old. But not enough to be like, oh, you know what? It's probably time for a new car.
Yeah.
Because it's just not there.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
So did you see it after the impact?
No, I even went back. Like I asked Dave, so Dave came from work. He works on the east side of town. And so it takes about like 20 minutes.
Yeah. And
I was like, did you see it? Was it on the side of the road? And he's like, no. He goes, sometimes like their adrenaline's pumping. They keep going.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I hope it stopped.
Oh.
Because I was so annoyed.
Yeah. I wish it hadn't happened.
I'm sorry. I do not wish that deer to be dead.
I wish there was like a camera on you just to see the reaction and to hear the obscenities that probably.
I'm an angel. I'm an angel.
Sure.
It was like that scene from, oh my gosh, the movie A Christmas Story. You know?
Okay. Yeah. But you didn't say fudge. It was probably confused by that roundabout.
Where's the toilet?
Don't you think?
I did deserve soap in my mouth after that.
I'm blaming the roundabout. I bet it was confused by it.
It was. We weren't to the roundabout yet, though.
He saw it though, or she.
It didn't have any
antlers.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Just a little guy.
Well, hey, be grateful that the kids weren't in the car.
I actually was super grateful.
Out, probably.
They may or may not have been in the car with me before when I've hit a deer, but
this is not your first deer.
No.
Same car?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Same car.
Same car.
You have little like paintings of like all the
All the wildlife that you've taken
photos
out
on them.
on your RAV4.
On the back of the window.
Put photos of them like this.
I just like you know
Polaroids.
those little tally marks on my driver's side
Like a
door.
World War II bomber plane. It's like that.
Have you ever hit a
was an
deer?
elk, yeah.
Have you ever hit a deer, Steve?
I've never hit a deer, but when we were kids, our family got in a car accident and we were out of town.
This isn't getting dark, is it?
No, it won't get dark.
Okay.
Everybody was okay. We had to stay in the hospital for just like a couple hours. Make sure
wow.
everybody was okay. But my uncle had to drive us back home, which was about 3 hours away. This happened at like 6 o'clock at night. It's like 11:30 at night. We're half an hour away from our home, and my uncle hit 2 deer.
Oh gosh, 2.
After we had just been in a car
Like,
accident earlier.
consecutively
Oh
or
my gosh.
concurrently?
They were like standing in the road, like eating something, and he didn't see them. So we got in 2 car accidents in one day.
wow.
I cannot trump that.
No humans were harmed, but
A deer ran through my parents' like front door once.
What?
Yeah,
In St. Louis?
yeah. They live like by a wooded area.
ran through your door.
Well, it was a glass door, so they didn't see it either. It's like a.
I've heard of birds doing that, but
So it was like
They
in your-
claimed. I don't know.
It was like in the living room.
Yeah,
was it just like going nuts?
it did, and then it ran back. Yeah,
like the deer in the
through
back seat of
glass.
Tommy Boy?
Yeah,
Like
pretty much. Yeah, now that's when I wish there was a camera on. Yeah, I wasn't. It was long after I was out of the house. Yeah, messed up the door pretty bad.
I bet it did.
This we should have asked Drake if he ever hit a deer.
Right? I didn't want to take away
Yeah.
from his exciting
Oh,
stories.
He had some good ones. Yeah.
But you know what? This is where you.
This is why I was not ready for the cue there.
Oh man! I should have just done it like you did to me last time. I should have just taken over.
Do it again. Say it again.
All right. Well, you know what?
Our best Mizzou memories have yet to happen.
This is Mizzou Storytellers. I'm Loretta Jones.
And I'm Dave Matter.
We'll talk to you next week.